Now I think we've all heard of commuters going 20 miles. It's kind of common. Some may go 200 miles, right? That could be Riverside County. They're going to work in the city of Los Angeles, benefiting from that lower housing costs in Riverside County, and then the higher pay, obviously, in could be Santa Monica, Pasadena, whatever it is, the city, right? But I've never heard of someone commuting 2,000 miles. Let's check out the article. Meet the California firefighter super commuters traveling 2,000 miles for work. Here it is right here. This is Stefano Montali, August 23rd, 2003. Just some of the highlights I pulled out here. So they profile one firefighter. It's in Orange County. Although a lot of the ones that they spoke with, they say that the cost of living is the biggest issue. Most of the states that they're going to are Oregon, Arizona, Texas, Alabama, Florida, and even Alaska. Yeah, pretty much they're all interesting. It's people going from a Democrat state, and pretty much they're all except for Oregon. They're all Republican states. It's kind of interesting, right? The cost of living is much lower there. We've talked about that before on the channel. Here we go. Kyle Conforti. They spend most of the article discussing him. They profile him. He's a 44-year-old firefighter from Orange County Fire Authority. Him and his wife, Roxanne, they were researching, and then they found a home in the suburbs of Nashville area. He has 2 kids. So they bought the home, and then a few weeks later, he went back to work. And then it was found out that in 2020, there were 725,000 people who left California. They're going to give some statistics building up to the main profiling here. State's population declined 138,000 in 2022. So not only is it firefighters like Conforti, but they're also police officers and nurses. And I had no idea nurses made so much money until I learned it was... No, I watched a YouTube video, and they were saying that typical nurses, they make around in the 40s per hour in California. And then this couple were saying that in travel nurses during the beer bug, they were making $14,000 a week. Travel nurses, right? That's insane. Even though in normal times, now let's not even consider that, right? That's an emergency. Even normal times, nurses will make, they can make with the time and a half overtime, because that's a big deal. That really factors in a lot because of just the nature of the job. A lot of times there's less employees get hired for whatever reason. They're just short. So they're making mid-50s nurses. Look into that if you can handle the job. So they say, Conforti says that the ability to stack work shifts into consecutive days, he's able to do it up to 10 days in chunks. He makes it, and this makes it possible for him to do this. You're able to live in one place and then fly back and forth from your home in a different location and fly to work. They say that the different factors causing people to leave a state: lifestyle, education choices, politics, taxes, homelessness issue, crime, drugs, safety, Those are all reasons why people are leaving. I don't think none of those are unusual, right? I think we all know that. And then he said, finally, what the couple came to their ultimate decision was that understanding that it was cheaper to live out of state and have him commute back and forth. Because essentially all it is, all it essentially is just buying the plane ticket, right? And then you can, after you've flown enough, you build up with a rewards point system, or even having a credit card where you can translate those credit card points over to an airline and then cash those out for a flight. So it makes us very, actually it's not as expensive as I think most people would think it would be. (2023) California was included with a couple of other states as having the highest cost of living. The other states were Hawaii, Massachusetts, and Washington, D.C. I don't know about Hawaii and Massachusetts, but definitely Washington, D.C., people, they definitely work there, and then they'll live far out in the suburbs. I know people, an hour commute using the metro, and even with Massachusetts, if you're in the Boston metro there, it's pretty common people live up in New Hampshire and then they'll commute. So, crossing state lines, that's nothing unusual. Conforti was averaging between 72 and 96 hours a week. Wow, that's crazy. Just for him, his work. His wife worked as a nurse in Los Angeles. They had a combined income around $160,000. But they said they felt that they couldn't really get ahead because of rent, taxes, fuel costs, and childcare. And really even getting some kind of pay increase, a yearly pay increase, really it didn't even factor in anything beyond inflation. They were primarily based in San Luis Obispo County. This report showed that you needed a minimum of $216,800 to be able to purchase the median price home. The Confortis, they were able to get a property. It has 4 rooms and 2 bathrooms. It also has a stream that turns into a lake. And then it is on 1 acre of land. That's not common one bit in California. I'm in San Diego County, so a lot of the properties up in the northern part of the county, some of those are like that. I know, like Valley Center, Vista, Escondido. They're bigger lots, but that is really not the norm. I can tell you that. Conforti, he plans to work for 10 days and 10 nights before he's able to go back to Tennessee for the remainder of the month. He's able to fly into either LAX or John Wayne Airport, which is pretty convenient. Conforti only had 2 days between his 4-day night shifts when he was in California. And then looks like probably it was what the union had written, but he's required to take 1 day of rest. And then the Orange County Fire Authority talks about other firefighters who are living out of state. Conforti actually estimates that there is around 60 out of 1,100. City of LA Fire Department stated in 2021 that 115 of 3,348 members lived outside California. Hey, listen to that again. Los Angeles Fire Department, 115 out of 3,348 members lived out of California. So like, what do they do when they're here? Do they they live in an RV and they with a shower and all that? I mean, what interesting what they do. And then they say in 2023 the number had risen to 160. Scott Hawkins is a 44-year-old fire captain with Orange County Fire Authority. And actually, it says that he started doing it in a year back, so that would have been 2022. His family bought a home in Meridian, Idaho. He states that his income goes much further in Idaho than it does. He's already looking at his retirement, and then Idaho has only a 5.8% income tax. It doesn't have the whole bracketed system where it goes all up to like 13.8% in California. So he's taxed a lot more favorably, because as a fire captain with the overtime and all that, it's going to be taxed pretty heavily. Hawkins and his wife couldn't find themselves represented in parts of the California public school curriculum. And then he states that the private schools in the state were too expensive. So they left because of education issues with the kids. They had an issue with the jab. Going back to school, they didn't want to do that. Hawkins estimates that there's about 30 other firefighters living in the Meridian, Idaho area who are actually from the Orange County Fire Authority. Wow. He says that he's seeing more nurses from California arrive and do the same thing. There's a church that has a support group for the wives of the super commuters. And then they discuss the residency requirements, which is something that they don't have at the moment, which is something that I probably would want to. I think I heard years back that the city of Chicago had residency requirements that you had to had an address nearby. I think that was for the police department. They state in 2021, Los Angeles Fire Department considered having a residency requirement, but the talk stalled out. They say that the division and fire chiefs don't really care where you live as long as you get your shift done. That's pretty much all for this article, folks. So what are your viewpoints on this? Got ridiculous housing costs, whether it's renting or mortgages in America's big urban areas, the big metropolitan areas, and then just people who... these are people with higher incomes, guys. These aren't people low incomes doing this. So it's people, I mean, it's kind of like they had their kind of have their one foot out the door. Seems like, some of them may just want to leave the state at some point. But what are your thoughts on this? I mean, I'm not really, it seems kind of stressful to me to have your home off in one area, 1,000 miles away. And then you're having to go back and forth like this. I mean, it's not something I would really want to attempt to do or consider. But what are your thoughts? Post them down below. Let's see what you have to say. Thanks for watching. You have a good day.